Good night, teacher. I will talk about activity 70.1, integrate products and reflection. Table of contents, introduction, subproducts, and conclusion. Um, my name is Marta I was born in Matagalpa City, and I live here actually. I spend time with my beautiful family, and I love spend this time. Um, the best party for me spend time with my family was in December the last years, and my hobby is visiting other places in Nicaragua and spend time with my friend. But I have other hobby is reading books, especially Christian book. Actually, I work in NCA Matagalpa. I am English teacher and I am teaching for kids. Summarizing the contents study, the impact of technology in rural areas and urban zones, comparative and superlative adjective, regular and irregular comparative form, use comparison and contrast, talking about the comparative and superlative form and superlative adjective, comparative we use for compare one thing with other, and superlative compare more than two things. Comparison and contrast, we may use both either similar for compare things, and contrast express how two things is similar or different. Advantage and disadvantage of the use of technology in 21st century learning process. Situation in which we use formal and informal expression and relation causes and effects. I learning in this topic. I use models such as might, would, or could, or other expression to ask question in a very formal way, such as would you mind? I was wondering. But informal expression we use is any friend visit your home at night. You might use informal vocabulary because you are close. And talking about advantage and disadvantage, and relation causes and effects. When talk about the causes, we use formal. We can use due to, owing to, but an informal use because of is talking about an effect, and cause when talking about an effect we use therefore, thus, consequently, has a such. That's why this is informal phrases. When we talk about my personal achievement and technology, interpretation and discuss of text, understanding figurative languages, question to confirm information, tag question, intonation and confirmation question, verb and preposition, application of summary and note-taking techniques, verb and preposition. Talking about a little bit the interpretation and discussion or tech understand figurative languages. Really I like this topic because I may use simile, metaphor, personification, onomatopoeia, oxymoron, or hyperbole for talking about discussion. That's really excellent topic. And other is question or confirmations. When talking about the tag question, I learned use a tag question or short question after affirmative or negative statement. If a statement is affirmative, the tag question need to write it in negative, and a statement is negative, tag question is affirmative. An application of summary and note-taking techniques, verb impression. This, when I use, for example, when summarizing, we can identify main idea and choose what technique use. For example, corner technique, linear technique, liner note-taking technique, flowchart, and mind map. For example, and personally, I like corner technique. because I can writing very order the ideas. And how to improve my environment: expressing to receive advice, recommendation, and suggestion in English, and use common vocabulary and expression when given advice or receiving. This I learned when I use recommendation, for example, for the benefit or the environment around us, as well as the protection of living species. Use common vocabulary and expression to give advice. Is, for example, if the people is sick, you can use I recommend, I suggest, you should, if I were you, I think you should. This is the person is very sick. And to and conclusion, I can say that each of the lesson study I assigned activities were very important to practice the correct use of the grammar. That was those I improved my oral expression in English a lot. And learning new vocabulary of the environment and practicing how to use it was a great help for me, because it is the first time in English that I speak how we can be part of the help to improve our ecosystem. One of the topics that was called my attention was the application and summary and note taking, because it becomes much easier to take an example of them and made it personal to take note in different situations. Thank you, Professor, for helping me in this class, and thank you for your attention. Good night. Have a good day. Bye bye, teacher.